I have an article here called Can B2B Brands Cash In on Social Media Trends? And it's making a pretty bold claim that social media isn't just for B2C companies.
Right.
It's saying there's real potential for B2B.
You know, what's really interesting is that the article doesn't just stop at, hey, get on social media. It really lays out a strategic roadmap for how to use these platforms to achieve business goals.
Even in the B2B world?
Even in the B2B world, yeah.
Okay, so you're saying it's more than just like posting a random company update every now and then. There's a real strategy here.
Absolutely. The article actually argues that social media can be a really powerful tool for B2B companies to increase their visibility, generate leads, build their brand, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Even gather customer insights. It's reaching a wider audience than you ever could with, those old traditional methods.
Now, you're listening to this deep dive because you want to be seen as the expert in your field, right? The go-to person, the one everybody thinks of.
Yeah.
Well, this article suggests that social media just might be the way to do that.
It's interesting.
And it's not about bragging. It's about sharing valuable content consistently that actually helps your audience.
Exactly. It goes beyond just listing the benefits, and it actually provides some concrete strategies for leveraging these trends we keep hearing about.
Right.
It even gives some free content ideas for different platforms.
Free content ideas. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
That's actionable advice. What are some of the strategies that stood out to you?
One of the big ones is staying updated, right? The social media landscape is constantly changing, so B2B companies really need to, keep their finger on the pulse and be willing to adapt.
Yeah, it's not set it and forget it. This sounds like it's going to take some ongoing effort, like tending a garden,
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Another key strategy is creating engaging content.
Okay.
It's not enough to post those, dry corporate updates.
Right.
You have to find creative ways to capture the audience's attention, even in the B2B world.
So how do you do that? What are some examples of engaging content for a B2B audience? I'll admit I'm a bit skeptical about using humor in B2B content. Doesn't that, risk coming across as unprofessional?
It's definitely a balancing act.
Yeah.
But the article suggests incorporating, storytelling, case studies, and yes, even humor sometimes where it's appropriate. It's about making your content relatable and human. And, don't underestimate visuals. High-quality images, videos, infographics.
Yeah.
Those can really make your message stand out.
Okay, I'm starting to see the potential here. But I'm curious about these free content ideas you mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
What are some platform-specific suggestions that our listener could start using today?
Well, it really depends on the platform and the specific goal you're trying to achieve, right?
Yeah.
For LinkedIn, it might be sharing a short post where you debunk a common myth in your industry. It's about taking those general principles and adapting them to your business and audience.
Now, I know we've been focusing on specific platforms, but one thing that stood out to me in the article is the emphasis on using storytelling.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what platform you're on.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Storytelling is so powerful for connecting with people on an emotional level.
Imagine sharing a client success story on LinkedIn or a behind-the-scenes look at how your product is made on Instagram.
Right.
Those are the kinds of posts that grab attention and make people want to learn more about your business.
Absolutely. And it's about being authentic, letting your personality shine through. People can spot a fake a mile away, especially in B2B.
Yeah, so it sounds like we're moving away from that stiff corporate image that people often associate with B2B companies.
Exactly. It's about being more human, more relatable.
Yeah. People
want to do business with people they like and trust. And social media gives you a platform to build those relationships. It isn't, a one-size-fits-all approach.
A funny reel that works on Instagram might totally flop on LinkedIn.
Exactly. You need to tailor your content to each specific platform and consider, the cultural context of your audience.
Oh, okay.
The article even mentions a point from AC Marketing Caribbean about understanding the Caribbean consumer.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Even within B2B, what works in one region might not work in another.
It's almost like learning a new language. You need to understand the nuances, the customs to communicate effectively. B2B companies need to be genuine, transparent in their interactions online.
Right.
Don't be afraid to show your personality, share your values.
Yeah.
Let your audience see the human side of your brand.
I think that's especially important, for our listener who's trying to establish themselves as a thought leader in their industry.
Absolutely.
People are more likely to trust and follow someone who seems genuine and relatable.
Precisely. And that's what leads to long-term success on social media, building trust, engaging authentically,
Right.
and providing real value.
It's not about broadcasting. It's about building relationships.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Mm.
You know, it's funny. I remember when I first started using Twitter for business, I was terrified of saying the wrong thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But then I realized it's more about being human and connecting with people.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
Social media can be so intimidating at first. But it doesn't have to be this perfectly polished corporate thing. It's about showing up as yourself
Exactly.
and engaging in a genuine way.
Exactly. And I think this article does a great job of, breaking down some of those fears and misconceptions about social media. The article makes a strong case that ignoring social media is just not an option for B2B companies that are serious about growth.
It's like ignoring email or having a website.
Exactly.
It's just part of doing business.
It's part of doing business in the digital age, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And when done right, it can be a powerful tool for building brand awareness, generating leads, driving sales. It's not about, jumping on the latest trend or posting random content. It's about having a strategy,
Right.
understanding your audience, creating valuable content.
Yeah, and being authentic, transparent, and engaged.
Yeah.
Social media is all about building relationships, and that takes time, effort, a genuine commitment
Right.
to connecting with your audience.
Okay, so we've laid the groundwork here,
Right.
but I'm sure our listeners are wondering how to actually put all of this into practice.
Sure.
It can feel overwhelming, right?
You're right. But the good news is you don't need a huge budget or a team of social media experts to get started.
Okay.
You can start small, just one platform,
Okay.
and gradually build from there. One of the easiest ways to get started is simply to start listening.
Okay.
Pay attention to what your target audience is talking about online. What are their pain points? What are their questions? What kind of content are they engaging with?
So before you even create any content, you need to understand your audience.
Precisely. Once you have a better understanding of your audience,
Yeah.
you can start creating content that is relevant
Yeah.
and valuable to them.
Okay.
And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect from the start.
It's like anything else. Practice makes perfect.
Exactly.
And I think sometimes we get so caught up in trying to create the perfect post
Right.
that we never actually hit that publish button.
It's true. Don't let perfection be the enemy of good.
Yeah.
And remember, social media is all about building relationships, so don't be afraid to engage with your audience, respond to comments,
Right.
answer questions, participate in conversations.
It's about being present and showing that you're listening and you care.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as you start to build a following and gain more experience,
Yeah.
you can start exploring some of those more advanced strategies we talked about,
Right. Yeah.
like paid advertising or influencer marketing.
So it's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. And the most important thing is to enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Social media can be a lot of fun when you approach it with the right mindset. It's about connecting with people, sharing your expertise, building relationships that can benefit your business
Absolutely.
in the long run.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
But I think the million-dollar question for our listener right now is,
Yeah.
where do I even begin?
It's funny when you break it down, a lot of the advice
Yeah.
boils down to common sense, right? If you were at a networking event, you wouldn't just stand in a corner shouting about your business.
Right.
You would listen to people, find common interests,
Yeah.
and build relationships, right?
Right.
Social media is kind of like that, just online.
Okay. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So instead of feeling overwhelmed by all the different platforms and strategies,
Right.
our listeners should focus on just being a good digital conversationalist.
Exactly. Start by choosing one platform where your target audience hangs out.
Okay.
Don't try to be everywhere at once.
And it doesn't have to be this big time-consuming production.
Right.
Even just a quick tip or a behind-the-scenes glimpse can be engaging.
Absolutely. Consistency is key. Think about sharing, one valuable piece of content each week rather than try to churn out a ton of stuff that doesn't really resonate with anyone.
Quality over quantity.
Yes,
That's like with anything else.
Yeah.
Now, I know we talked a lot about free strategies, but
Yeah.
what about paid advertising? Is that something our listeners should consider?
It can be a powerful tool, especially once you have a good understanding of your audience and what kind of content works for them. Think of it like amplifying the conversations you're already having organically.
So it's not about replacing those organic efforts, it's about boosting them.
Exactly. And remember, the most important thing is to be patient.
Okay.
Building a strong social media presence takes time and effort.
There's no magic bullet. It's about showing up consistently, engaging authentically, and providing real value to your audience.